around. Feels so good when he jokes.
What's this company called?
Shirts and pants. Holy shirts.
And boom, we are live. Welcome, folks, to the American Movie Podcast. If you've never been here before, do not forget to subscribe. I go through movies, news, documentaries, Netflix series, Netflix originals, and I do trailer reactions. Now, this was one of the craziest trailer reactions I had seen in a long time. It took me by surprise. So, and I was really looking forward to it because excuse me, so I didn't know what to make of it. And the series is Sex Education, and it was hysterical. I could not believe I was so surprised. That's what it was. I couldn't believe how funny this turned out to be. I thought it was going to be silly. I thought it was going to be just one of those, sometimes Netflix is hit or miss when it comes to series like that. But this one didn't disappoint. And one thing I have to make a note of is just the acting. The acting was incredible, so funny. All these people were great in it. And what I was trying to think about is when people were watching like the first season of Friends or something of that nature, did they see these people becoming like A-list stars? Or Freaks and Geeks with James Franco, Seth Rogen, when they were watching it, did they understand or see the long careers that they had in the future? Did they foresee that? Did they see the talent? And I think this is similar because some of these actors are just they're great in this. So this series is pretty much about Otis. It's mostly revolves around Otis and his friend Eric, and Otis's mother, who's played by Gillian Anderson. If you know the X-Files, she played Shelley, I believe. I'm pretty sure it's Shelley in Mulder. Don't quote me on that. But so she's in this, and she's incredible in this. She's incredibly awkward. If I were to surmise this series in a few words, it was so encouraging, and it was also very, very uncomfortable. So it revolves around Otis, who's in high school. I think he's a freshman, and he's not very good with girls, and his mother is a sex therapist, and she has just numerous accoutrements throughout the house that are just sexual related, and it's crazy. And another person is Eric, who is Otis's best friend. He did an incredible job. He was hilarious in this. I was blown away at the acting. And Eric is homosexual, and he happens to have I think 8 sisters, and then this big burly father. And it's just like this crazy dichotomy between this manly man of Eric's dad and him, who is more feminine. And I just found that funny. And they had a good relationship overall anyways. But also stars, I think it's Emma Mackey, who plays Maeve. And that's pretty much Otis's love interest. But she loves or is into, the jocks and all that stuff. So, and it revolves around, I'm pretty sure they're in the United Kingdom somewhere. I don't know exactly where. I got some weren't. So I'm guessing that they weren't. But yeah, so Maeve actually kind of recognizes the opportunity of Otis's knowledge living around his sister or his mother, Gillian Anderson. So he starts to understand pretty much all of the therapeutic pathways that his mother uses to help people get through their sexual relations, and he applies that to all these high school kids. And at some points it's kind of awkward because there's nudity in this, and you're like, hey, this is supposed to be a high school person. And it's just like, okay. I think there's only one spot in it. I think it's at the very beginning. I think it's like a MacGuffin. So they're like, hey man, let's show this nude person and then get everybody's attention. But yeah, so yeah, he becomes this renowned person throughout the high school of this sexual therapist as a high schooler. And I forgot to mention that Otis is played by Asa Butterfield, and he was in Ender's Game, which is a crazy movie. It's a crazier book, but a good movie too. So yeah, there's so many good stars in this, and I just think we're seeing something similar when we watch this to Freaks and Geeks or Friends, where you get to see these people at the very beginning of their careers, and they have such immense talent, and then they get to go on and do other things. I think this is going to be one of the things that either I mean, they already are great actors, and everybody understands that. But I think it's going to shoot them in a better trajectory. I think just because this is so funny and so good. So yeah, I don't want to spoil it too much, but I loved it. It was so funny. It took me by surprise. Like, a lot of it took me by surprise. And I like to pride myself on being somewhat, you know, I can't be surprised very easily. Like, I get taken back by a few things, and this took me back at numerous instances. So it was really, really funny, man. So I would recommend this. I'm a fan. I'm a huge fan. So yeah, they get into, I think it's 8 episodes. So it's 8 episodes, an hour long or so. So a long series, and it was just so, I want to say original. It was just so original. It reminded me of a few things with the awkward parents and stuff like that, kind of like Meet the Fockers, where his mother was a sexual therapist and stuff like that. So it kind of ran along those grooves, but it was so original, and it was really awesome. So I would highly, highly recommend it. But yeah, that was Sexual Education, and it is streaming now on Netflix. So big fan. Check it out if you'd like, if that sounds like something you'd be interested in. Yeah, so it's just kind of, it was R. It was rated R. So explicit. I'm pretty sure they swear a lot, and you get to hear some of like the crazy vernacular that some of the English use. So it's very, very funny in that way. So just in that, in and of itself, is funny. Just their accents and them put into these scenarios. So anyways, thank you so much. This has been Matthew Benjamin with the American Movie Podcast. Do not forget to subscribe. I go through movies, news, documentaries, Netflix originals, do trailer reactions, all that stuff, books even. So until next time, folks, bye-bye-bye. Bye-bye-bye-bye-bye-bye.
After all, someone has to pay for the lap dances for the big guy.
He's joking around. Feels so good when he jokes.
What's this company called?
Shirts and pants. Holy shirts and pants. It's a little corny and obvious, but what do you get out of being so, right?
That's a hell of a good project. I'm going to mention something to become a secretary.
That would be terrific. That would be great, huh?